most of the times, what we're looking for is not here. Please, if your mics is on, help me mute them, okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me tell us how we could be studying. So after you've gone through this, your resources, such a way that even if you finish all your projects on the third deadline, you will still meet the minimum score for it. You will still pass. So don't be concerned about the score, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to employ you based on your scores, but rather based on your understanding and skills. So always try to understand instead of trying to meet up deadline and scores. You might get 200% in everything, and you still end up not have understanding what you're doing. So please, let's not concentrate on the task, but rather to understand the concept. So after you've found a few tasks you could practice with, and you attempt them and you could do it, good for you. That means you understand the concept. But if you don't understand, you could go on to asking your peers. Yes, if your peers cannot explain to you, you could still stretch to asking somebody who has been on the program before you. Yeah, like me or any of your seniors are added in the group there. We are going to attend to you. But then, I always tell us that if I cannot attend to you immediately, definitely I will attend to you. It may not be immediately, but eventually, yes, I will attend to you. So please, if you send me a message and I don't reply to you immediately, hold on to it. I will reply you. And if I cannot help you, I will seek for help for you too. Okay. So I'm going to ask us a few questions on this and see if any of us, or if we actually studied this. So I'll just call a few names here and ask you one of those things. So I'll start with Avin. Avins. Tell us what you understand, what the command echo is used for. Avins. Tell us what the command echo is used for. You might want to unmute your mic so I can hear you. Okay, hello, Avin.
Yeah. Echo is used when you want to, for example, write 2 or 3 lines into a file. You can echo them.
Okay, you mean I can only use to write 2 or 3 lines?
Okay, I've been trying to ask that question because I've tried to put it into practicals and it has not been working for me, because I'm kind of used to using allow me to call them greater sign, the greater than sign.
Okay. So don't worry. So okay. Go on.
So for instance, I've been questioning myself, if I want to write 3 lines, if I want to write maybe 3 lines, do I have to use the 3 greater than signs, or what's the best way to go about it?
Okay, we'll get to understand that was not my question. I asked a question, so I wanted an answer, not another question.
I think I've answered you, but I was asking maybe for elaboration on the point on the echo. I said echo can be used when you want to write a line into a file.
Okay, echo can be used to write a line into a file. Is that what echo is used for? Okay, yes, that's what echo is used for. You're correct, to write a line to a file, but it might not really be a line. Okay, you're actually correct. You're correct. But what you're asking about the anchored brackets, you'll get to understand them as we go into the our session of today, because definitely when we talk about redirections, we are going to use those symbols. Okay? Avin.
Okay.
All right. So next person, what do you use CAT for? Who am I asking that question? I'm going to ask. Okay, Justice Obasi is here. He's one of our media personnel, so he will be recording our session now. So I'm happy that he's here now. Justice, I welcome you to the meet. Please unmute your mic and say hi to the team.
Hi everyone. Good evening, David, and every other person.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us today.
So you were asking about cats.
No,
Well,
no, no, that was not for you actually. That's for them.
okay.
Please.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, thank you very much. Okay, so that's Justice Obasi. He's one of our seniors here. He's in the group too. In case you have any questions, you could tag him. I mentioned him last time. He's one who posts the links to our videos. So I appreciate you for being with us here today, Justice. Okay, so I'll move on to asking. I was looking for somebody. Okay, Stephen, what do you use the command cat for? I want to be sure everybody understands what we're doing.
Okay, cat is used to display the content of a file.
Okay, that's good. Is that all cat is used for?
I think it's that. I don't know the other issues.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. As we go into the concept of what we're having today, we'll get to see other uses of cat. Because definitely you can use cat for other things like writing into a file. Okay. So we have head and tail here. That's going to be the last one I'm going to ask. Head and tail. For Lakemi Oderanti, what do we use head for? For Lakemi, are you there? Unmute your mic, please. What do we use head for?
I'm here.
Okay, go on.
So head is used to display the first 10 lines, the content of a file, the first 10 lines.
Okay, that's very good. That's very impressive. That's basically what head is used for. Okay. Oliver, what is tail used for? Oliver, if you are there, unmute your mic. Tell us what tail is used for. Okay, seems I lost him there. All right. So Oliver, I will skip you. David, what is head used for? Happens to be my namesake, so you will take that. David, I can see you. You're on the screen there. What is head used for? Okay, I don't know if you can hear us, but I'm seeing him there. Okay, head, unlike tail is, as Fola said, head is used to display the first 20 lines of what is in our file. Then tail is the reverse. It's used to display the last, 10 lines of your text, not 20, 10. Yeah, but you could also customize it according to what you want to use it for. So let's go into the business of today. So I wrote down some text here for all of this. So I'll bring up my. This was the last thing we did the last time for those of us who attended on shell permissions. So this is echo. Echo is a command used to display a line of text. String is also a text on the terminal. Example, echo hello world. So we'll just practicalize that and we'll move very quickly. So this happens to be my terminal. Remember, whenever you open your terminal, what you need to do is to cd into your root. cd/root will be in this case, but this is not my terminal. I just created a directory here, name it root. So I'll just cd root into it, and then you cd into the directory you're working in. In this case, just to make everything look real, I'll create a directory called shell redirections and that. So it will be easier for us. Let's share my screen. So shell redirections, yeah. So mkdir, sure we know how to do that. It's no longer new. And then I'll cd into mkdir, and of course, we will. What do? We are going to create a README file. So this is the README file for this task. And echo it into README. I've almost forgotten about this. README.md, right? So now we have our README file, and that is set. So definitely you are going to clone this, but let's just assume I've done that, and we already know how to clone. So let me go back to what. So I said echo is used to display content of. So sorry, echo is used to display a line of text or a file on the terminal. Just as I used it here, CAT the contents of a file, but I'm using it to write into a file. So I'm writing into a file name Arvin. Let's say arvin.md. It's a markdown file. Then I hit enter. If I ls, now we have Arvin. And then if I cat Arvin, we have his name is that. So that is how you use your echo. Now the next, I want us to understand this because basically this tax is built on this. So we have cat. Now cat, someone said cat is used to display the contents of a file on the terminal. Just as I used it here, cat arvin.md. So you could use cat to see what is inside of your file. Then cat, just like echo, cat, you could also use cat to write into a file. How do you do that? You're going to use your anchor brackets. We'll get to understand this in a minute. So cat, and then let's say I have another person's name. Who was that? Fola. I'm writing into a file named Fola. So let's say fola.md. Then you hit enter. On the next line here, you can write her name. Her name is the file name. Is the file name. You hit, maybe I want to end the new line. Then to exit, I say Control D. Then I exit. Now if I list, I have Fola, and then I could also use my cat to list to display the content of fola.md. So that's how you use your cat function. I'll clear my screen. To clear your screen, you can type CLEAR or you just Control L. That works on. So we have head. Now head is used to display the first few lines of a file on the terminal. Example, head and then file.txt. I don't have file. Okay, I'll just copy this. Just copy this. And then I go into this place and I'll say VI. Whose name did I have there? I had David.
What's wrong with today's network now? Oh shit.
My VI and then I'll paste to exit colon WQ. Make sure you are in your command mode and then I hit enter. So we are going to use the function here, head. So let's see how that works. Head, and then we have David, and I hit enter. So you see, let's count the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like Fola said, used to display 10 lines, the first 10 lines of our text. So also note that the white spaces are also counted. So you count them too. So these are 10 lines of text. So that's how you use your head. And the reverse of it is the tail. So let's use the tail to see how that works. You say tail david.md. Then you see we have the last 10 lines, which is, where did I copy to? These are just the last 10 lines. You could also count it here to see it. So that is how you use the head and tail. I hope you are following. Now we have find. This command. Now, note, I'm explaining everything that we have here because basically this is what we are using in this task. We have find. Now, find is used to search for files and directories in a specified location. Example, we have find, then you give your relative path name. Okay? Now let's see how this works. Fortunately, I don't have any path name. I can't start writing it. Okay, but this is how it works. Just is to find a particular file or directory. So you give your relative path name. We know what relative path name is. I explained to us in the last time. You're not with us. Watch the videos. Give your relative path name. Then you give the option here, and then your file name. Okay. Then you hit enter. Definitely, if that particular file is present, you will see it as the output. So we have WC. The command is used to lines all together. Then we have how many words? 96 words. And how many characters? 566. You could count it to see that it works. So that's how you use the WC function. Just is to count the number. I mean, why would you use that? Of course, you use it when you're writing other program. Now we have sort, used to sort the lines of a file vertically or numerically. I'm not going to practicalize this. I don't have much file here to practicalize it. I'm watching my battery too. Okay, so unique. Now this is another function I fell in love with. Unique is used to display only unique lines from a file. Example, unique file.txt. Now I made something here for us about unique. Oh God, I didn't copy it. I made it in the office. Okay, I didn't copy it. Okay, so unique has other options too. I didn't copy it. Sorry for that. But I'll try to make it available to us so that we could go through and see the other options we could use for unique. Now you could use unique to search for duplicates. Could use unique to print maybe a particular text that is not a duplicate in your file. Yeah, let's say I have David, Fola, Avin, Justice as like text inside of my file. Like I list them, list of names inside of my file, and then I could use the unique to check which of them is a duplicate. Like David, I have David too, so you could use it to also check. Okay, David appears too, or you could use to print the ones that are not duplicates, like Fola, Avin, and Justice. Okay, so I'll make it available to us so we could see the other options attached to unique. Okay, then we have grape. Grape is used to search for a specific pattern or string in a file. Example, this. Now, grape is used to search for a particular thing in a file or text. For example, I want to rush through this, please. For example, we have a text file. Remember, a TXT is the extension for a text file. And then we have so many words inside of it, just like we have in our david.md. David instead of this your file.txt file, and then it will give you David. If David is present, it will give you David. That is what grape is used for. Then we have the TR. Now this TR is used to replace or delete characters in the file. For example, we have TR, this, and then remember this. I'll talk about this in a minute, please. Just identify it inside this. So I could replace this with this. That is basically what this function does. I used to call it the replace because of the TR. So whatever you could remember it with, you could name it. Now we have the rev. The rev is used to reverse the order of characters in each line of a file. For example, in where we have her name is that, yeah, we could use the rev to reverse how we wrote it. Her name is that. In this case, it would be that is name her. Okay, so that is what the rev function is used for. I've made this very descriptive by just giving us an example on how we could use it. So you could replace this with your file name, and then I'll make this text available to us. So we have the cut. Now, just like the name, the cut command is used to extract specific fields or columns from a file. Example, cut-d. Now, I'm going to, just like the unique, I'm going to make it available to us so that we could see the options. Remember, when we have something like this, they are called options. So they are like additional features to that particular command you could use to get other things from the command. So I'll make it available to us, both unique. I wrote it. Perhaps I wrote it in Microsoft Word, not in Notes. So I'll look for the file and send it to us. I'll add it to the library, and then those of you who have access to the library can go. And I'll tell you the file name. If you don't have access, the link is in the group, or you remind me, I will drop the link to the library where we have all sorts of books on the whole software engineering thing. Then we have another file that contains links to videos. Almost any video you need on progressing through this stage, I have it here. It is inside of that file. So now that is that for these commands that we have here. You expected to know this. Okay, now learning objectives. At the end of this, you are expected to know what these commands do. I just explained them now. By now we should have grabbed this. If you don't, by the time you go through this material again, you will know it. You practice, you will know it. Now, how to redirect standard output to a file. Standard output to a file. So before I start explaining that, let me just, I have the notes here. I will explain it to us. Before I start explaining that, let me just give us a little thing about input output redirections. I hope you can hear me. Now let me check. Okay, everybody's here. All right. So if you have your notebooks there or whatever you have, you can bring it out to pen something down. So redirection, what is redirection exactly in shell? Now, redirection is changing where commands read input to, where commands also send input to. I will rephrase. Redirection is changing where commands should read input to where commands should send the input. I hope you got that. So, for example, we can redirect the output of ls. Now, remember, what do we use ls for? To list the files that are inside of our directory there. Now, we could redirect the output of ls. This here is the output of ls. We could redirect it to a particular file, and it will not display on the screen. That is what redirection means. Redirection means you should, maybe something is supposed to display on the screen like this. You, instead of allowing it to display on the screen, you let it go into another file. So this output now will store into another file, like the content of that file. Okay, that is what redirection is all about. We'll get to understand. So for the redirection, meta characters are used. Now someone was asking them about this, so this is where we start to do practical. So for redirection, please listen, meta characters are used. And what are meta characters? Redirection can be into a file. So meta characters we have on the shell are our anchored brackets, which are this and this. We know them as greater than and less than symbol, but these are our meta characters. That's the professional name for them. They are meta characters. And then we also have other meta characters like our pipe symbol. This is pipe. So you could classify this as meta characters in shell. We'll get to see how that works. Now, standard streams in input and output redirection. I don't know if that was even on our resources. I can't remember, but it's good to know them. Now, the bash shell has 3 standard streams in input or output redirection. We have the standard input, we have the standard output, and then we have the standard error. Now, what is standard output? Sorry, standard input. It is shortened to SPDIN, standard input. Now, the standard input is usually numbered as 0. Let's take note of that. Now, the bash shell takes input from standard input. Sorry, I mean standard input, not output. The bash shell takes input from standard input. By default, your keyboard is usually used for the input. Okay, so when you are taking input, it is your keyboard that takes in the input. Okay, then when you are displaying it, you can say it is your screen that displays it. So standard input is usually symbolized with 0. Okay, and then note that your keyboard is what takes the input. Move into. So the next one on the streams is standard output. It is usually shortened to STD OUT, standard output, and then it is symbolized with 1. Okay, so whenever you see 1 in shell, you can recall that it is used for standard output. I'm taking time to explain this because these are the concepts you need to understand. Now, don't bother about your tasks. By the time you understand the concept, definitely you can do your tasks. Now, standard output. Now, it is numbered as 1. Now, the bash shell sends output to standard output, and that output goes to the display. which is your screen. Just like when you say ls and then you see it on the screen, this is the standard output now. It sends the output to the standard output, which is your display. Now we have the standard error, which is usually shortened to SDERR. I hope I'm correct. It's usually symbolized with the number 2. Now it is numbered as 2 years. The bash shell sends error message to stderr, and then the error message goes to the display too. So whenever you see an error message, for example, let me say empty, and then this is like an error message. It's also going on your display. So that is the streams in input output redirections we should know about. Okay, now redirection into a file. To explain this, so I'm taking my time to explain this, please. So redirections into a file. Each stream has redirection commands. Single angle brackets or double can be used to redirect the standard output. If the file name does not exist, definitely it will create a new file with that name. Now, commands with single angle bracket overwrite existing file. On why the one with double does not do that. Instead, it appends. Now, let me tell us what I mean. Now, remember our cat function. Somebody was asking what you use this for and what you use that for. Now, when you use single angle bracket with a file, what name I want? I always like to use our names here. So I have Nixon. That's a great name, Nixon. So let's say my file name is Nixon, right? Nixon, and I want to write into Nixon. So you see, when you use cat, let me say his name is Nixon. Nixon, I hit enter to end with a new line and then Control D. When I ls, we have Nixon, right? Now let me just cut that to be sure we have Nixon. Now his name is Nixon. Now if I should try to write into Nixon again, now what this single angle bracket does is that it will overwrite the text you already have inside of here. Okay, so if I should try to write something else, let's say I say the text has been deleted. My bin is incorrect, I know that. And then I hit Control B. Now the content of Nixon will be overwritten with this. So if I should cut Nixon again, you see we have the text has been deleted. That is what this single angle bracket does. Now, what of the double angle bracket? Now, remember the text instead of case, the text has been deleted. Now, let's use the double angle bracket, and then we have this. I hit enter, and then I write his name is still Nixon. I hit enter, Control D to exit. Now, we still have our Nixon in here, right? Now let's cut Nixon. You see, we have the two texts, the two lines now. So what the double angle bracket does is that it appends, it adds to the text you already have on a new line, while the single angle bracket does what? Overwrite what you already have. So if you have content inside, so be careful while using them. If you have content inside of a file and you want to keep them and you want to use this angle bracket to write into your file, be sure that the content inside of it is not important when you're using this. So you want to append, you use this. That is what that does. Okay, I hope that was understandable. Now we also have redirection into a program. That is where we start to use our pipe symbol, just like as I explained before. Now, the pipe symbol, which is this, redirects a system from one program to another. When we use pipe to send standard output, what usually happens, what is supposed to come to the screen goes into the file, right? Now let's see that. Now what file do I have here? I have, okay, let's see, what do I have inside of having? Okay, I have his name is that. Okay, his name is that, right? So his name is that. So I will have, let's say, having, right? Then let me write something here. I want to be careful. I want to give us something understandable. And then let's say that. here I had justice. Now let's see. We have justice, right? Now let me crack justice. Now, what happened? Now, look at this. I use this pipe symbol here to send this into of justice. That is what the pipe symbol does. It redirects what is on your left hand side into what it is on your right hand side. Now let me try to do that again. Let me see if the command cat is going to, okay, let's say ls, and then let me see if this will work so that we can really get, and then I'll cut it into justice, and then I hit enter, right? Then let me cut justice. Okay, now remember, this is what we have inside of our current directory. We have Avin, David, Folad, Justice itself, README, and Nixie. Now, ls is used to list all the files we have in that directory. Now, I use the pipe symbol to redirect the output of ls. Then I cut it into of justice. Remember, shell scripting is just writing commands inside a file, so that whenever you run that particular file, it's going to execute those commands you have one after the other. So basically, use it to automate your work. Okay, so that is basically what we just did now. Now, if I write this thing, if I write this inside of a file, and then whenever I run that, the files I have, and then cut it inside of justice. So when it lists, use the pipe symbol and say, okay, what's next? You help me cut that. Remember, cut and this is used to write into a file. So we cut that output inside of justice. That's what just happened now. So that is what the pipe symbol is used for. I hope that was understandable enough. Now, let me go back to this before I give us a chance for questions, and then we solve some of the questions. Now, how to redirect standard output to a file, which is what I just explained now. I wanted us to get it practically so that when we read it, to be understandable. Now, the single anchored bracket, this operator is used to redirect the standard output of a command to a file. For example, if you want to save the output of the ls command to a file called this, you can use the following command, this and this. Okay, this also works. Okay, this will redirect the output of ls to the file this instead of printing it to the console. Okay, I think I just explained that not too long ago. So remember, we have what we call keywords. In C, we call it keywords and identifiers, but we have what we call keywords. Now, ls is a keyword because it does a particular thing. Now, let me say cat is also a keyword because it's a function in shell here. Now, if I say something like KL is not a keyword. Or let me just say, I just say David. David is not a keyword or anything like that. If you see, it says command not found because David is not a command or a function in shell. So we have what we call keywords. Now, those keywords, now if I say ls, usually when you want to use anchored brackets, you use it with cat or echo to write into a file, right? But then I'm using ls, and then I say cut it into whichever names. I love to use our names. Into Sammy, okay, Sammy Rufus. And then I use Sammy, how did you spell Sammy? Like this? Sammy, right? And then I hit enter, right? Now, because this is a keyword, I have redirected the output of this into of this. So if I should cut Sammy, you see it is the output of what we have that's inside of here. So that is what I was explaining in here, in this place. Basically, just know that the anchored bracket is used to write into a file, however you do it. Now, if you say David, and then you say like this, into, let's say, which other names did I see there? I saw Samuel, you can just Samuel, I hit enter. You see, David is not a valid command. Why? So this didn't work because David is not a command. So for you to maybe write David instead of Samuel, you would want to use either your echo or you use your cat, just like as we explained, cat this, and then my file name, hit enter. So that is that. We understand that. So if we understand that, we should understand this too. How to get standard input from a file instead of the keyboard. Now this operator, the left-angled operator, is used to redirect the standard input of a command. Let me hit enter here. So quick. Hold on. Okay. Now the left encode operator is used to redirect the standard input of a command from a file. For example, if you have a file called input.txt and you want to use it as the input for the sort command, you can use the following command. Sort this. This will redirect the standard input of the sort command to the file input.txt instead of waiting for keyboard input. Now let's see. Now sort is also a keyword, right? Now we know what sort is used for, right? Did I explain that? I want to be sure I explained that. Okay, sort is used to sort the lines of. Okay, good. Okay, so let's practicalize what I wrote there. We use this into what name do I have there? I have, let me use Nicholas. Yeah. Nicholas. I have Nicholas. I'm going to use Nicholas as a txt file. No such file or directory. Yeah, of course, no such file or directory. So let me touch Nicholas. Txt. Right, so I'm going to call up that command again. Okay, now what happens? Let me cut Nicholas. Nothing happens. Why? Because we are not redirecting output in this case, rather input. What is input? Input comes from your keyboard. Where are we? So I hope you understand this. Now, this is used to redirect the standard input of a command from a file. Let's say I have a file. Let's say I wrote a script file, right? That usually asks for input. We should know how to ask for input from when we write our shell command. Okay, and then I want to redirect that input that the user is going to put into a file. This could get complicated. Let's say I'm writing a program and I want to do all of those stuff. Let's say, yeah. So you could use this symbol, okay, to redirect into that particular file. I just hope this is clear enough, but if it is not, then definitely you can always ask me questions and I will explain to you this time. Now, how to send the output from one program to the input of another program. That is what we use the pipe operator to do. Okay, just like what I explained, you could use the pipe operator to redirect the output of any program into the input of another program. That is just what this place is saying. Now, okay, I'm not sure I'm supposed to explain this, but I think I wrote this for a purpose. So that, okay, because of the pipe operator, I've given us an example of this already. Okay, so you could run this to check how this works. Now, this is a wild card. I'm sure, I don't know if we've learned about this or not, but this is a wild card. If not, you'll get to understand it. Let me not explain that if we've not gone into that. This was just an example I wrote for this, but definitely this would work for us. Okay, so how to combine commands and filters with redirections. So all of these things I'm explaining are this. Take note. These are things I expected to know, as I'm taking my time to explain it. Now, how to combine this and this. You can combine commands and filters with redirections to create powerful data processing pipeline. For example, if you want to find all the files in the current directory that contain the word hello, which keyword do we, what command do we use? And think about that. Now, and also count the number of lines in each file and then sort the result by the number of lines. You can use the following command. Now, I wrote this in particular so that we can get to understand what we do. Remember, shell scripting is all about writing commands and letting it do something for you. So in this place, I said, this place talks about how to combine those commands to do something for you. So you could want to combine ls with that, with all of that, so that when you list the files, you cut it into another. That's what we actually did in the pipe listing when we did our example. I've cleared my screen. So that's what this place is talking about. Putting all these things together to create a process or something for you. So I gave us an example here. If you want to find all the files in the current directory that contain the word hello, which command do we use? Of course, this. This is just an option for what we want to do. And we have hello here. Now this is a while pointer pointing to want just a particular thing. And then we also want to count the number of lines in each file. That is what we use WC for, right? then want to sort the result by the number of lines, which is what we use sort for. Now remember, this is an option. Okay, maybe when we are writing, when we are solving some of the tasks we have, we may use this, and I'm going to explain this for us. So this is that. This command uses the create command to find the file that contain the word hello. Number one. Then uses this command. I don't know if we've done something on this command to pass the file names to the WC command. Then the WC command then count the number of lines. We read about it. That's what it does. Then finally we use the sort to sort the result according to the lines we want. So that is basically the objective, what they wanted you to know in this. Okay, so I hope I've done that. Now, special characters. What are special characters? Understand what do the white spaces, single quote, double quote, backslash, comment, all of these, what they mean. These are simple enough. I shouldn't go over that. Now, let's just go into some of the tags so that, okay, so that we can do something. Now, this is simple enough. Write a script that prints a hello world followed by a new line to the standard output. What is standard output? Just having it on the screen. Okay, shell script. So we have this is going to be our file name. So I'll copy that. Now let's go into the business of the day. Now, how can I do this? I could want to use, now if I want to use echo to write into this, they said 2 lines, right? Followed by a new line. Yeah, which means definitely our file is going to have 3 lines. That is our shebang, our command, and then a new line. So you could count out the new line and say 2 lines. But so what are the limitations of using echo to write into a file? What are the limitations of using cat? So when you identify what the limitation of all those things, you will know which to use in a particular situation. So in this case, I'm not sure I can use echo. So instead, I'm going to use cat. Then my file name is hello world. Now, they say write a command that prints hello world followed by a new line. In fact, let me just exit out of this. What command do we use to could we use to print hello world to the screen? Of course, we could use our echo, right? Echo hello world. Echo hello world. Remember to write it exactly how they said you should write it. So W is supposed to be capital letters with the full stop. No full stop. Then I hit enter. That displays hello world. Basically, that is your command inside of that file. That is just your answer to that particular task. So what was the name again? So the first line is going to contain our shebang, which is usually this with exclamation mark. We have the bin / bash. You hit enter and then you say, can I call up? Oh, can I call up the command? You say echo hello command hello. Remember to write it exactly how it is here. If not, know how like this. Control V to exit. Now this is one way of doing it. I could use VI to do it. So how do you run a shell command? Sorry, how do you run your shell file? First of all, you make it executable. I believe this task you're supposed to make it executable. So how do you make it executable? I'm sure we learned about this in our last session. Then we say hello world. I hit enter, right? And then to execute it, how do you execute your shell command? Or your shell file, rather. Say hello world. Command not found. Why? Was that executable? Yeah, of course it is executable. I'm going to say, if this does not work here, please work on your own end. Okay, let me just delete that. Okay, command not found. Okay, echo. Okay, that's from my own end. Please ignore. This is my git bash, not my web terminal. But that's supposed to work. You can try that. It's supposed to work. So that's that task for this task. Okay, let's go into the next one. Now write a script that displays confused smiley to the screen. Confused smiley. Basically, this is the confused smiley. A script that displays. This is simple enough now. So I'll just copy this and say you could use VI. Remember, whatever I just want to use, you could use VI in this case. I could still use my cat, but let me use VI and say confused smiley. Copy and paste. paste on your terminal is Control AV. On Git bash is Shift and Insert, depending on, I don't know, it always depends. So I would say this exclamation, my bin, my bash, hit enter, and then of course since I'm displaying, I'm echoing. So I will echo. So I could echo, like write what I want to write inside of here. You could use single quotes, you could use whatever it is you want to use, right? Now remember special characters. Remember special characters. I don't know if you can remember that. So for you to escape escape some things. Remember, let's say I want to write like David, or let's say I want to in the actual text I want to include David in quotes. Okay, and then for me to use my echo, I still want to use quotes to include my own code, and so definitely this is going to give you some certain issues. So we usually use special, or let's say escape characters to escape those sequence. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to say this, and then one of the things used in escaping is the backslash. You could read about that, and then I'm going to paste this. I'm going to paste this. Basically, this is just the answer to this. I'm going to paste this, and I'm going to escape. I'm going to paste this. So I've pasted that, right? Then of course I'm going to close my quotes, go back to my insert mode, and then so you see this is how you should write this. So I'm using this. If I don't put this here, if I don't put this escape sequence here, it's going to treat from here and this as this is the opening and this is the closure, and then from here will just be on their own, and so this is going to cause confusion in my shell script. So that is why this is like this. Okay, then I hit enter to end with a new line, and then I escape, exit my VI, and then you could do your chmod and that. So that is basically how you did this, or you could have done this. Now all of you have seen that I scored 65.0%. Yeah, I told you don't put your mind on the project, rather the concept. So it actually took me time for me to really read and get all the concepts. I wanted to understand shell scripting, because when I heard that I could use it for automation, that got me. I'm always into that. Like anything that I could just write codes and then it does things for me, makes me happy. So that was why I took my time to study this, and in the process of that, I missed deadlines. Okay, so this one says display the content of etc and that file. Okay, that's simple enough, and I expect us to do that. So the name of this thing should be number this. So this is simple enough. Or let me not even write this. So let me display the content of this. So what do we use in displaying the content of the file? Of course, we use cat david.md. So basically, what you are going to use inside of this is cat followed by this, because this is what you want to. This is a relative part. So you're displaying the content of password, and password is inside of etc. So your command should look like this. After your shebang, it should look like this, and then slash. It's just copy and paste this slash password here, and that is that. So all these things are very, very easy for you to understand as far as you understand the concept. That is why I always say understand the concept. Now display the contents of this and this. This is still the same thing. It's like doing the same thing in different ways. Two files. So after writing cat this, you just follow it by this. After a space, you follow it by this. So let me just practicalize that. So I'm going to say cat. The file name should be. I've just used any file name. Let's say file name. Pardon me. So this is going to be your shebang. Then I hit. Then I just go on and type this. I don't want to give me headache. I say password. Right? And then you give space, and then you etc/hosts. So that is just that. And then I exit. That is that for this. You can just display the contents of this and this. You just give space in between. You can practicalize that on your own don't even go to your project when you finish studying. Use your PC to do this thing. If the files does not exist, you write them, like create them, just like the way I created all these things for 12 groups. Create them in different places and use it to practice. It helps. Don't leave your deadlines. Just go on to knowing what it is they want you to know. Now display the last 10 lines of this. Display the last 10 lines of this, which means we are going to use tell. I'm not wrong. We are using tell. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and be sure that we are understanding. So I'm going to ask someone to Folakemi, how do we solve this particular task? Display the last 10 lines of this. So tell me the command to use. Folakemi, please unmute your mic and tell me the command to use.
Okay. We are going to use the add command. I think it's the task add, right?
Let me go back to the question so you could see.
Okay.
The question says display the last 10 lines of etc and this and this.
That's tail.
Sorry?
That's tail. This is the tail, not add.
Okay, so tell what?
Okay. Sorry, what's the question?
The question says we should display the last 10 lines of David.md.
Last 10 lines.
Yes, last 10 lines.
I click cat, fulfill, then David.md.
Okay, let me help you out. Now we have -n or -n, then we have now let me give us this as an assignment. My instructor used to say, if I keep spoon feeding you, you will learn nothing but the shape of the spoon. Okay, so this is an option. Let's go and read about options in our shell commands. Okay, this does a particular thing. Okay, so we have 10 here. Now use your tell command to display the last 10 lines. We've done this, right? So I could just use tell 10. No, I could say tell and then whatever I want to write. But this -n or -n is used to give yourself options of how many lines you want. Remember, it is used to display only, tell is used to display minimum of 10 lines, but you could customize it and give yourself 20 lines, something like that. So I've given us the answer already. So that's what this -n is doing here, to tell us that, okay, if I wanted to print 15 lines of it, of course, we use tell and then the file name is to give you 10 lines, the last 10 lines. So what do you do when you did 15 or 5? That is where you use this -n to specify how many lines of this you want. So it just happened that we need only 10 lines. So I could just want to use it. And then the last 10 lines of David.md. I hit enter. I didn't even put my shell script there. Okay, but that's the command for that. And then you, after this, you put whatever they said you should put here, which is etc something etc/password. So that is how you do that. So you see, when you get to understand this concept, everything becomes very easy for you. You don't even stress. Just know it. As I used to tell, that's what we used to tell ourselves, then you just know it. Now this one says display the first 10 lines of this. The same thing, you just use your head command, but in this case, okay, you could specify that you want a particular line to with the -n. Yes, that also works. Okay, so that's what the -n is used for, just to specify how many lines. But if you don't use the -n, I think during my term I didn't use this -n, but I got errors. Like I didn't get the correct answer. So that was when I realized that, okay, perhaps they want me to include this. Yeah, just for in case maybe I wanted to print 20 lines so that I would know it. So that was when I included this and it worked. So since then, even if I want to print only 10 lines, yeah, I still use -n. So that is what -n is used, an option. They call them options. Okay, I think we've dealt with what. Now, if you watch everything, all the tasks now, everything we are doing is based on what we studied. Yeah, so that's why I always say read first, understand the concept. We've not done anything outside what we should do. Now, this -n seems like what we didn't do, but if you have checked the resources, definitely there should have been a place where special characters. I don't know. Special characters are those escape sequences. But definitely there's a place where you will get to read about this. They will not give you a task without giving you a pointer to what you should know. So that is that. You see how simple all these things would be just by understanding your concept. So let me just skip through some of these and see. Write a script that writes into the file ls this. The result of the command ls that if the file is already exists, they should be overwritten. If this, it should this, all those. Now, all these things are just simple things, but let me try to understand. I've forgotten all these things, believe me. But let's try to understand it together. It says, write a script that writes into the file ls does this. That means this should be at the right-hand side. We are writing into this. I use books sometimes to do all these tasks. So I'll write this at my right-hand side and keep. Then I'll put an anchored bracket beside it since I'm writing inside of it. Okay? Now, the result of the command, this. Okay. Write a script that writes into the file, this, the result of the command. So the result of this should be inside of this. That's all. If the file this is not present, it should be overwritten. If this does not exist, create it. Now, let me go back. This is simple, man. Okay, let me go back to the... Remember when we said that the single anchored bracket, right, is used to... When you use it, it's going to overwrite what you have inside of it. But when you use the double, it appends. Now, in this place, they are saying that if this file does not exist, it should overwrite it, which means we're using the single anchored bracket. So in this case, at my right-hand side, I already have this, and then let me just copy that. Write into the file. So this is what I'm writing into. So you see how simple this could be if you understand the concept. So I'll paste this here. Okay. Now they say I should write the content. I'm done with the tags already. That is so interesting. I enjoy shell scripting a lot, believe me. So which means this is going to be at the left-hand side. So this is the tags. I'm using single anchored bracket because I wanted to override what is inside of this. And also, if this does not exist, definitely to create it, either you use the double or the single. The only difference is this is going to override the content of this. So this should be the command you use inside of this particular tags. See, that was simple. How many is this tags? So plenty. Now, no more JavaScript. What does this say? Write a script that deletes all the regular files. Why would you do that? Not the directories. I'm picturing that already. That means I'm going to use maybe wild pointers. Basically, I don't know how to solve this right now. I don't know how to solve it, but I'm already picturing how it should be in my head. So let's see how we could solve it together. Okay. So it says we should delete all the files, not directories, that has the extension .js. How do we do that? Believe me, I don't know. Write a script that deletes all the files, all the regular files, not directories. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do definitely is to look for files that has the extension .js. Right? Let's go back to this. It's been a while I did this, so definitely I've forgotten some of them. Cat, no, this is head, this is search for file and the residence specified location. What does grave does? This is to search for a specific path. Okay, so we are going to use find. So what do we use find to do? We are going to use, let me keep it where we can see it. We are going to use find to look for the .js, and then definitely we are going to have our white pointer and say, okay, look for .js. That is what the white pointer does. It just gathers everything that you put after it. So we are looking for all the files with .js, yeah? And let me read the question again. Definitely I can do this. Write a script that deletes all the regular files, not the directories, with a .js extension that are present in the current directory. Okay. I don't know. I've not talked about some of the things we could use to solve this now. The way it seems, I might not be able to use basic commands for this, but definitely they might have taught us the things we should know inside of redirect something in input output direction. So in this case, of course, I'm going to specify that I need a particular type of file with my dash. That sorry, I'm supposed to precede it with a full stop or a period. Yes, I need to specify this since I'm looking for a particular type of file, which is they say regular file. Okay, I hope you can still hear me. Adetule, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So let me go back to it. So I believe they've taught us some of this. I don't know if we've read about that, but I'm going to use this. And then please hold on, guys. Okay, please. Someone is at my door. Just give me. My phone has been ringing. Just give me 2 minutes. Let me just get to the door. I hope you can hear me. Please, if you can hear me and what I said, say okay. You're excused. Just 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, excuse.
Okay, thank you. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay. So I'm back. Sorry for that. Okay, so I'm having a low battery already. Okay, so let's just rush in solving this. Okay, so let me go. Okay, I was saying I'm going to use my dash type to seek for a particular kind of file, which is this with my white pointer. Now, this white pointer means I'm looking for all the files that has the .js extension. That's what white pointer is. Okay. Uh, Depending on your kind of script or on the shell you are using, okay, you may need to include this in quotes, but I don't know if bash does that, but you should include this in quotes. Depending, I don't know, but just to be, I don't know, I'm not sure. I told us it's been a while I did this, but then depending on the kind of shell you're using, you should include this. So they said I should delete, right? So I'm going to use my delete function or my delete option. That's self-explanatory. Okay, so something is missing here. Of course, of course. Of course, of course. Now, this dash name means I'm seeking for this. I'm seeking for this. So my type means I'm looking for a type of file. The name, of course, this. Then my white pointer is pointing with at the name with the .js. Then my delete means delete. So that is that. Although this doesn't really look okay with me, but this should do. This should do. If something else is missing, please, you can call my attention to it and we'll correct it. But this should be the command you use for this. This should work. Because it says, let me go back to it. It says, that was question 10. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. 10, no more JavaScript. So write a script that lists all the regular files, not directories. Regular files, okay. I got that. Now don't ask me what that does. deleting my regular files. So definitely this is what I missed. This is correct. Yeah. Write a script that deletes. Let me put this side by side. Okay. Okay, it says write a script that deletes all the regular files. Oh, my laptop is going off, which is what I just did now. I just found it, and then I use my type to search for my regular file, and then with the name, my white pointer is pointing at all the dodges, and then I delete. So this should work. Okay, so please, my PC is going off any moment from now, but let me open up my phone so I could join us with my phone and end the meet. But this is going to work. So I think I should end here with this little concept I've given us. I believe we could use it to solve the other test. Or I believe we have understood what shell redirections is all about. Okay? But if you don't, you could always call my attention to it and I will definitely attend to it. So at this point, I want to ask, do we still have questions concerning what everything I just explained? Okay, but before that, in case my PC goes off now, you just wait for me a minute. And okay, I'm here. Okay, so my PC just went off and I wanted to give room for questions. So do we understand everything I just said? Or everything the concept I just gave now? If you want to say something, you can just click on the raise hand icon and I'll give you a chance to speak. So do we have any questions at all? Or is there any place you're finding difficult after this explanation? This is where you get to ask your questions. You can raise your hand up now and then to start to speak. Anybody? Okay, which means we all understand this. Okay, this is great. This is good. This is a good news to me, and I feel good knowing this. Okay, that means we understand everything we just dealt with. So, as you can see, everything is simple. LX task is not always all difficult. It's us who don't study. It's us who don't take our time to go through the concept, and then you stretch, go to the internet, YouTube, search for that particular concept and try to understand them. Instead, we always looking at deadline and scoring 200% and 100%. No, I don't do that. If I get 50% and then I understand the concept that if you wake me up in the middle of the night and say, David, hold a session on this a crowd of persons, and I'm able to that, I'm okay with that. I'm not about my scores, because at the end, when you go into the real world, nobody's going to employ you based on what you scored in ALX or something like that, or with how many tasks you were able to solve, but rather with how you are able to use the knowledge, the concept you've learned to put it into real practice. That is what is more important. So please, next time you're giving a project, or from now henceforth, don't look at your deadlines or anything. I told us the way the program is designed, even if you finish your project on the third deadline, as far as you finish it at the end of your particular sprint, you will still make it into the next sprint. 50% is okay for you to make it into the next sprint. So please, let's always try to understand the concept. If you have any questions after now, you can reach out to your peers, you can reach out to me personally or any of your seniors in the group, and we will definitely attend to you. And then I told us something last time. If you have a question and you want to ask it in the group, please tag either me or any other person added in the group. Don't just write the question and expect me to see it or any other person to see it. No. There are so many messages going on in the group, so I can't come and sit down and start reading each of the text messages. But rather, if you tag me, I'll get a notification and then I'll just come on in and read your question, and then I'll try to answer it immediately or after a while, depending on my space. So please, let's always do that. I noticed some persons were asking questions, like saying, "Can we create a session for this?" And you expect me to see it. I can't. Please. And also, if you ask me any question or in my inbox and I don't attend to you immediately, please don't be angry. I also have work, ALX to attend to, and stuff like that. So I may not reply to you immediately, but eventually I will. Please, let's also take note of that. So since we don't have any questions, I want to appreciate everybody for being out here. But before we end the meet, I want to give a chance to Justice Obasi to please say something to us. He's one of our seniors. He has been in the system too. So Justice, please help us unmute your mic and talk to the team too.
Yes, David, thank you so much for
Sir?
thank you for the way you are handling the program. Is very nice. I want to believe that everyone understands. I want to believe that we understand. But even if we do not understand, the video is being recorded, so you can always come back to it to watch it. And please, you guys should make sure you are reading. Read. Aside from what LLS is giving you, read. Get a website or any media you can lay your hands on that is explaining these concepts bit by bit in a way you understand. LLS might give you a program or a task that you will not understand. They will give you directions or links that you will not understand. Look for a simpler website or document that will explain that in a simpler way you understand. You can watch videos on YouTube on each particular task or subject so that you understand it. Don't bother about the deadline. The deadline is almost useless. You understand? Just focus on understanding the task, because if you don't understand it, by the time you progress, when you no longer have time to come back to understand this, and you need to have the knowledge of these little things now, it will be difficult for you to progress. That time you not say LLS is too difficult or this program is too difficult. No, it is not. It's because you did not pay attention to understand it at the initial time. And another thing is trying to read ahead before the tasks are being presented by LLS. Check your planning or your tasks. You will see things you still need to do, things LLS is here to give to you. Go through them, read about them, even if you don't understand, but read about them. By the time the task comes, you go back again and read, you understand. So that's it.
Okay, sir. I appreciate you a lot for that. Man, it's always a pleasure to have you. I mean, of all the works you have, your busy schedule, we still make our time to come during our meet and to record our session. So, Justice Obasi, please, we appreciate you. And we look forward to having you around more often. And then we hope in one of our sessions, you are going to speak to us too and teach us some of these concepts. Please, thank you again, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All right, sir. Okay, so someone's hand is up. Stephen, you have a question or something? Stephen, go on. Stephen, you can go on with your question. Your hand is up. You might want to unmute your mic.
I'm speaking. You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. I was saying that when you were saying standard output 0, standard input 0, standard output 1, and standard error 2, when we will see that numbers, these numbers, when we see these numbers, 1, 0, 1, and 2, where we see it.
Okay, 0, 1, 2 is a notation for input, output, and error, respectively. So I would have showed us something now, but my PC is already off. Okay, but tomorrow we'll be having a session on expansion, so you could call my attention to that before we start our tasks tomorrow, and then I will try to see how I could explain it to you before we actually start. Okay?
Okay. I have another question, please. Can I how can I do my task on Ubuntu WSL on my laptop and save all the projects I've done on my laptop? So if my sandbox crash, I will have all my projects on my laptop. How can I do that?
Okay, let me also point to us that Ubuntu or Vagrant or any of those virtual environment, it depends on your PC specification. Now, they usually have high requirements for a PC for you to be able to use it. But then, they are not compulsory. You use them to also be your task. You could also use Git Bash, just like as I'm using it there. Now, how you use it is it works just like your web terminal. In fact, the Ubuntu you're talking about works just like your terminal because it's terminal you use. So what you need to do is to clone your repository or whatsoever, and then you begin to do your task. Now, let me also point that your web might crash, but then all your work is on GitHub. So you could reclone them again anywhere and still do it. But your question was how you could do your tasks aside using webtime. You could use your Git bash just like as I was using it. All you need to do is to clone your repository and begin to work just like your web terminal. That is how it works. In our last two sessions or two, like all the sessions we've had before now, always shows how to clone and do identity update. So if you missed it, you could watch the video, the beginning part of it, you'll see how to do it, or the ending part of it. Can't really recall, but I usually shows. But if you don't still know how to do it, you could inbox me privately and I will take you through the steps on how you could do it. Okay, Stefan?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Justice Obasi, okay, please speak.
All right. Just to add a little thing to what you said earlier concerning questions. When you want to ask us questions on the group, David said you should tag him or someone else. For me, please, I would prefer you DM me, like you chat to me directly on my message. That's the only way I will be able to see, because I usually don't go through the group to check everything because of other things and my busy schedule. But if you send me a message directly, I will see it and I will respond to it. Okay, so that's what I want to add.
Okay, sir. All right. There's no problem. That's a good pointer too. So please, you just note that. So if you have any questions and whatever you want to ask, you could also inbox him, and definitely, of course, he will attend to you. Definitely. If he does not attend to you immediately, hold on. He has work to do. He has his personal life, but eventually he's going to attend to you. I trust him for that. So, okay, other hands are up. Adetule, your hand has been up. Adetule, speak now.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, Adetule.
Yes. Thank you for today's section. I really appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to ask something about the Git bash. I installed the Git bash, but I noticed this change mode, this change chmod blah 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 doesn't work with the what's Git bash. Is it me that I don't get it right, or but when I use it in my sandbox, it works. But when I use the Git bash to do the change mode, it doesn't.
Okay, I hope you can still hear me because I can't hear you again. But then it works. It works. Now I want to also point that your web terminal is like a replica of a Linux operating system, and then your Git bash is like a clone of a Linux operating system. Yes, that's how it is. So it's not everything that works on a Unix operating system that is going to work on your Git bash. Remember, it's just an emulator. That's the word for it. It's just an emulator. So some of the commands may not work, but chmod works. Except you are not doing it correctly, it works. Now, when you inside your Git bash, list your files. Check that all of them is going to be in white. But then when you make it executable, for example, chmod u plus x, your file name, it will change to green, which means it works, except you're not doing it correctly. That means it won't work. But if you're having such issues, you could take a snapshot of what you've done, send it to me in my inbox or any of your seniors there, and then we'll try to assist you in doing it. Adetule, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry,
All
the
right.
Git bash installed with VI and Emacs.
Okay, the Git bash has VI already installed, but Emacs, you may want to install it, but in some cases, in some of the versions, Emacs does not work on Git bash, but you could check it on yours. It could work. You could try to install it. I'm sure you know how to install a package on VI. Do you?
No.
Okay. Ask me on WhatsApp. This I'll send you the command on how to do it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Someone's hand is up. Felicitas, pen here. Felicitas, please go on.
Good evening.
Good evening, Felicitas.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the session. I just wanted to ask if there is someone here who is understanding the day-to-day, because I tried reading the sources. The more I'm reading, the more I'm getting confused. I just need someone to just try and explain things to me, because I haven't tried to attempt it, because I haven't figured out what they're talking about.
Okay. Have you been on this meet from the beginning?
No.
Okay, that's the problem here because we've treated almost everything on shell, input, output, redirection. So everybody that is here, I'm sure I can testify that they've understood the concept and how to go about the task, because we learned the concept. We took time to explain the concept, and then we tried to use it to solve some of the tasks, and we saw that everything is built on the concept. So except you were not here, that's the issue. That's why I always shout.
Yes, I just came from work, then I just joined, and the thing was already into the time. Yes.
Okay, I understand. So what you will do, the session is recorded. So after now, our media personnel, Justice Obas, is going to drop the link to the session. So you can go on and watch it. We took time to explain the concept and make notes. I'm going to make the notes also available for us so we could use it as a reference to study. So just use the video and the note I will provide, and you understand definitely, and practice.
Okay, thank you. And is it, I tried opening my sandbox, and every time I open, because I was trying to clone my repository, then I just tried cloning, then I went out to look at the question again. The moment I came back, it's locked. I went back again, I opened another one, it's closed, it's closed, it's closed, it's locking.
Okay. Felicitas, I remember telling you to be available on the meet so I could show you how to do it, how to use Git bash in solving this. But then you came late, and my just went off, so I am on the phone now. I can't show you that now. But that happens on on our web terminal a lot because of networks and fluctuations. So the best way for you to escape this is to use Git bash or any other virtual environment you could use, or any terminal you could use. That's the word. But then some people still use Git bash or any of those terminals, and then SSH into their web term, and it will still give them the same issue because it's like working in your terminal, but you're on Git bash. So what I advise is you explicitly work from your Git bash, which means you clone your repository to your Git bash. So in this case, your repository is going to be available on your laptop locally. Like you can see the folder on your laptop there. So that is what I advise. But I wanted to show you that, but you were not available. So okay, you know what will happen? I'm going to show you privately. So remind me again on WhatsApp. Let me see how I can fix a session, and then I will rush through it and show you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, Felicitas. Okay, and let me just make a public announcement that I will try to make it possible to see how I can make short videos on stuffs like this, and then I could upload it on YouTube so that we could have access to all these little things instead of having to go over it over and over again. Okay, so that's by the way. Okay, Stephen, I'll take your question or your contributions.
Yes, I would want to ask to Justice Obasi, could you please give us your number, WhatsApp number, please?
Okay. I'm going to tag him in the group so that it will be easier for you to identify him. I will tag him in the group. Okay. Okay. May I ask which of the groups are you?
Let me see.
In cohort 12?
Cohort 12, yes.
Okay, just cohort 12. I'm going to tag him in the group, and then for those of us who are not in cohort 12, I'm definitely going to add him up right now so that I will tag him again so that we could all see and identify him. Okay, so I believe we are all good now. Everybody have answered all your questions. We've treated the concept, and I will make the notes available. I don't know. Yeah. I'll send it. Okay, I said I'm going to make it as a file, and then I'll upload it to our library so that we can. I'll tell us the file name. We can go and check it up in the library and read through it. For those of us who don't have access to the library, I dropped the link, but you may have missed it. So after now, somebody should remind me to post the link to the library again, so that you can. We have all sorts of books, materials that could aid you through the whole program. And then there's a file named Software Engineering in caps lock, Software Engineering. If you open, it's a PDF file. Now, each of the texts you see on that file are links to videos or whatsoever. So what you just see, the text is descriptive. So you might see a line as pseudocode. When you click on that, it will take you to maybe somewhere, but it might be a video that is going to explain pseudocode for you. You might see something on flowchart like that, all sorts of videos. So after that, somebody should remind, and nobody uses that particular library. I wonder why, when all the answers you need are inside of that. After now, somebody should remind me, I'll post it again.
David,
Okay.
I was on that library, but I had a problem. I cannot download more than 7 books. I don't know why.
Download? Why not? You could. But if you cannot download them, they are lightweight, you could.
More than 7 books. I downloaded 7, but after a time, I could not open another book. I don't know why.
Perhaps it's network. It could be network. You could try that again. Or even if it's not network, you could make it. See, it is lightweight. You just click on the link and then to take you where you see the books. The books are lightweight, a kilobyte. So you could decide to read them there on the drive online. It won't take you much. Okay. So I believe we've come to the end of the session and we've achieved the aim of today. So till tomorrow, hopefully, we are going to hold a session on shell expansions and something like that. So I'm going to be available, but I want someone else to take the session. It might not be me, but I'll be available to start the session. And one of our seniors again may be available too. But if nobody's available, I'll still take it. So till tomorrow, please read your concepts, read your materials. Don't focus on your tasks and your deadlines. Focus on on understanding the concept. So thank everybody for being out here, and thank you, Justice Obasi, for being here to record our session. We appreciate you. And to everybody who made out time to come here, thank you. So till tomorrow, you can unmute your mics now and say goodbye to your teammates. Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for
Bye, guys.